horrible scheduling mistake. No, me make a horrible scheduling mistake. It is the big broadcast. Thanks for joining us. Live video on our website, jiggyjaguar.com. From the KJAG Radio Studios in downtown Edgerton, Kansas, we are live coast to coast, Boda to Boda, all over the damn place. 2 Central, 3 Eastern, 12 Pacific, and 1 p.m. Mountain Standard, and of course 24/7 at jiggyjaguar.com. Get a hold of us each and every day.
Thank you very much for having me here in your show. I'm Dr. Shuvendu Sen. I currently serve as the Vice Chair of Research, and I'm a faculty at Jersey Shore University Medical Center. And I'm an author of this book called Why Buddha Never Had Alzheimer's, a holistic treatment approach through meditation, yoga, and the arts.
I think that is a fantastic title to a book. First of all, tell us a little bit about why you decided to choose that book title.
Well, to be honest with you, there was never a real snap moment that I decided, let me go ahead and write a book. This concept was with me for many, many years. I mean, many years back, even before I joined medical school, I was a favorite of my grandmother, and she was a very scholarly individual. And then suddenly, almost overnight, within a few days, she lost her memory, and she wandered away from home, and she had to be rescued. And when she came back, she had no recognition of herself, and I was her favorite grandkids. So, and it always struck me, and I'm talking about days when Alzheimer's, or understanding of the disease, Alzheimer's, was just beginning to take shape. And 30 years down the road, we still have the same questions as to how a woman whom I looked up to as a very scholarly individual could become a functional, ruin, within a few days. So Alzheimer's is a completely a different type of a disease. It is not as straightforward as, let's say, depression, bipolar, or other cognitive disorder. It is a type of disease which affects many layers of the brain. And truth to be told, it's been so many years of research, and we still do not have a firm medicine to take care of this dreadful disease. And it's almost like a tsunami. It's like a pandemic that we are living through, where there are hundreds and thousands and millions who are getting affected with this disease. And then I realized that there are certain things that we do not entertain. The holistic measures like meditation, like yoga, and they go a long way in preventing and protecting our brain against the Alzheimer's. There have been research after research coming from various universities, from Harvard University, from Johns Hopkins, which have conclusively proved the beneficial effects of meditation. And I thought of putting them all together and writing them in the form of a book. So here I am.
Well, the book is fantastic. We have got a great guest with us today. Dr. Sen joins us here on our big program. So when you put this book together, what was some of the ideas behind your writing process? Did you use an outline? Did you use notes? How did you bring this incredible book to life?
I think that's a great question that you asked, because I did have an outline. And I need to be honest with you, it all started when I did a very informal survey of various priests and nuns, and I myself, I have been blessed to have met someone called Mother Teresa. We worked together. We are from the Missionaries of Charity, and then I realized, lo and behold, from that very informal survey, that the incidences of dementia, incidences of Alzheimer's types of dementia, or forgetfulness are minimal to zero in those people. So there is obviously something profound with spirituality, which protects the brain. So that's how it all started. And then I'm a part of a lot of research work. And then I approached someone called Dr. John DeNinja. He is the chief of Mind Body Institute at Harvard University. And also someone called Benjamin Doolittle. He's one of the leaders of medicine at Yale School of Medicine, who interestingly is also a minister. So these are these two gentlemen, who kind of apprised me of the tremendous amount of research that is going on, not just in Harvard and Yale or Johns Hopkins, all across the world, in Germany and England. So I gathered all the tremendous, research that has been done on spirituality, on meditation, and its effects on the brain. And I decided to just put them together in a very user-friendly way and present it out. Rather than keeping them as intellectual treasures as we do in universities, I thought that this should come out to us doctors, and it should be used as a prescription for prevention of Alzheimer's and other forms of dementia. And it is all backed by very strong scientific theories.
Well, I will have to say that in the age of the pharmaceutical drug industry, we have gotten away from holistic health and as they used to say, potions and all these things.
Right.
Your book is incredibly well written. Take me through your whole thing of goals. What do you have for goals as far as this book is concerned?
Right. See, and I'm so happy, and I'm getting the right questions here. I practice mainstream medicine, so I'm at a very interesting crossroads. I prescribe medicines manufactured from pharmaceutical companies, and I completely admire the tremendous amount of work that these pharmaceutical industries do, and there are certain great medications. But we have to realize that in certain cases, we need to be open and we need to be flexible to step outside the box. We have to realize that medicine or all medications that we take, they're not exactly angels in the sky. They have their own sweet side effects. And then there is something also known as a tolerance effect. I remember I was giving a lecture at Harvard University, and one of the professors just stood up and said, well, why do I have to meditate to get rid of anxiety when I can get an anti-anxiety medication? There are so many of them, right? And he's correct. I can't blame him.
One-stop shop, baby. One-stop shop. Let's make it easy.
There you go. Exactly. So we're so into taking a pill with half a glass of water, swallow, and immediately we get the results. But the problem is, and I explained to him, and not that he did not know it, he knew it, you start with a 0.5 milligram. You do very well, but then 5 days down the road, you're saying, you know what, I need a 1 milligram. I need a 1.5. I need a 2.5, because that's the nature of drugs. It causes tolerance. That's one. And the other one is, we all know about it. The more you pile up on the doses, more are the adverse effects. And then before you know, you're actually dealing with the adverse effects. So it's a vicious cycle. And we all talk about antibiotic resistance. We talk about tolerance effect. So here is something called meditation. And again, it's got nothing to do with religion. It's all about spirituality. It comes from all corners of the world, from all types of religion. And you don't even have to sit like a Buddha under a lotus tree. You can just take a comfortable corner, in a chair, and just make sure that you have a little bit of silence around. And it's an inward journey. It's an inward contemplation. Just breathing in, holding your breath, and breathing it out. And that's the definition of meditation. It's a simple word. It does not cost a dime. It has no adverse effects. And why not try it out when we have so much amount of research and scientific evidence coming from some of the leading universities in the world? For the last 10 years, for about a decade, we have been producing it. So that was my goal, to bring forth this awareness and the necessity to understand that in certain diseases like Alzheimer's, which is not as simple and straightforward as a sore throat, a single line prescription medicine or a medication may not be enough. And to imagine that we are going to take care of this dreadful disease with just one medication is being very short-sighted, very myopic. And no wonder we scientists are all struggling to come out with those medications. If you look around, there are so many FDA-approved medications. They're coming in.
Yes.
They're becoming, they're becoming brand names and bestsellers
you
for
better
about a
believe
month
it.
or so.
You better believe it.
So that's my goal.
Well, the book is fantastic. We have got Dr. Sen with us today. The book is amazing. It's called Why Buddha Never Had Alzheimer's. And it is a holistic treatment approach through meditation, yoga, and the arts. And Dr. Sen joins us today via the magic of the old skip Skype. Yes, the Skyper, Rooney. And he's with us today here on our big broadcast. So, Doctor, who is your target audience for this incredible book?
To be honest with you, my target audience is everyone. And if I have to really focus on one section of our population, I would focus on the caregivers. They are the frontline workers. They are the frontiers. They are taking care of their beloved mother or the father or the brother and the sister. And the easy answer to this is the emotional component of it. That because they are emotionally affected. There's a complete destruction of a relationship. A husband that you knew forever, a wife that you knew forever is a completely different individual. Structurally the same, functionally another individual. That's one side of the story. The other side of the story, and we still do not have a clear understanding of that, is papers are actually being produced saying that caregivers who are taking care of Alzheimer's patients are actually coming down with the same type of dementia. And we are finding that the exact areas of the brain that gets affected in an Alzheimer's patient, those are the areas of the brain that are getting affected on caregivers. So it is a huge tsunami. When we talk about millions of people affected in Alzheimer's, we are not even including the caregivers. Because if we include the caregivers who are potential targets, who are the most vulnerable people to become patients of Alzheimer's, we're looking at much more than this. So yes, my target audience would be anyone and everyone, so that we understand that Alzheimer's is a disease that as of now cannot be cured, but with certain simple, inexpensive, holistic measures like breathing techniques, like meditation, like listening to spiritual music, we can prevent this disease. It's one of the ways to stop the disease from taking over our brain. So my target audience would be anyone and everyone in the community, but specifically for the caregivers.
Well, the book
they need to be protected.
The book is great. You have put a lot of time and effort into the book. You can get more information on our guest on the web, and we are gonna spell his website, because I know, just because if I say it, it's going to come out completely different, and everyone is going to go to the wrong place. It is SHUVENDUSEN.com. The book is amazing. Why Buddha Never Had Alzheimer's. Dr. Sen with us today. He joins us live here on our big program. So what has been the feedback that you've gotten on this book so far?
Very interesting. The feedback from certain circles has been very encouraging and amazing, to say the least. But if you ask me who are these people, well, I would say the people are predominantly my professors whom I know. It has taken me to places. I have been a featured speaker at the World Religions Parliament in Toronto, Canada. I've addressed officials at the United Nations. My book got featured by Roger Penrose, who won the Nobel Prize in Physics in 2020, etc., etc. But some of my patients have been very receptive. And I'll be honest with you, some of my patients have not been that receptive. Because of what you had already mentioned. They would prefer, because it's not a sharp bend. And I have been trying to explain to my patients that, meditation or breathing techniques it's a process. It's a procedure. It's not a pill. So you're not going to get the effects day after tomorrow if you start doing meditation today. It's like a wide arc. It would take its time. At the end of the day, this is a very big disease. So the treatment is profound, but it's time consuming. It takes time. So, but I have had a lot of my patients who have shown interest, specifically my caregivers, and their feedback after doing just 3 to 4 months of meditation have been tremendous. Dr. Sen, we feel so much, things are so much under control. There's so much amount of calmness that we experience. And so these, at the end of the day, we need a longitudinal study. These holistic measures are just beginning to be recognized because, even 15, 20 years back, we used to think this is a cult, But now with so much amount of research coming up from, big Ivy Leagues like Harvard and Johns Hopkins and, across the ocean from Cambridge and Oxford, we are taking it seriously. And it's up to us, providers, to explain to our patients that these are very strong prescription medicines, which needs to be followed, and the results will be there. It's not going to come tomorrow, but the results will be there because we've got enough science to support this type of holistic measures.
Well, it is absolutely an amazing book. We have got Dr. Sen with us today. The book is phenomenal. You need to go pick this book up today. It is just absolutely amazing. Dr. Sen calls Alzheimer's the Achilles tendon of modern medicine. Give us more details on this.
Well, it's actually, very simple. We have very poor understanding about this disease, and I'm very happy that you asked me this question. We have always been challenged traditionally, and being challenged is the first step towards a discovery or an invention. But unlike any other disease, which had a kind of a linear approach, whether it's an infection, whether it's depression, whether it's even cancer, the problem with Alzheimer's is that we do not actually know how it actually starts, because it can start in various ways. I'll give you an example. The common concept that we have is that Alzheimer's is, I don't know where my bathroom is. I don't know how to start my car. I don't know how to button my shirt. That's dramatic. That's the end point. But the entry of Alzheimer's is it could be very hushed, very slender, very under the carpet. And B, even more dangerous, it can be various. It can actually start with depression. It can actually start with, I have some problems in smelling. These things take place much before, I don't know where my bathroom is kind of a state. It can start with loss of words. The same person who would say that I'm going to have an omelette, a toast, an orange juice for breakfast, he loses those words and he says, I'm going to have breakfast. Now, I'm going to have breakfast is a perfectly legitimate word. So it escapes the attention of the family. The family just probably thinks, okay, my grandfather is just being too lazy to give out all those details. But all this while, this patient is actually slipping into Alzheimer's, and the beginning has been this loss of words. They lose the words, the details, and they just cover it up with, an umbrella kind of a word called breakfast. So that's the terror of Alzheimer's, that we have not been able to pinpoint the first tiptoe steps of Alzheimer's before the fatal, I don't know where my bathroom is kind of a state comes. So that's the biggest challenge for us, to be honest with you. That's the challenge when it comes to treatment of Alzheimer's, because when an Alzheimer's patient, quote unquote, an Alzheimer's patient comes to us, it is that final stage of the daughter bringing the grandfather, or the father saying, you know what, my dad lost his way, he could not come back home. But 5 years, 7 years, maybe years before, this was probably coming with a loss of words. But during the time, the person was actually driving well. The person actually knew that where the post office is. He was just losing those fine words. I had a patient of mine who was writing a letter to her husband. And she was having these problems for a long time, and nobody paid attention. And then in that letter, she addressed her husband as, beloved. And then he wrote a paragraph and a half. And at the end of it, she ended by saying, your daughter. So she started off as a wife, but she lost her identity within a paragraph and a half. And eventually she was diagnosed with Alzheimer's. Look at the spectrum of the disease. losing one's identity, losing one's smell, having depression, losing one's words. And I'm just telling you the tip of an iceberg. There are so many other different ways this disease can come. That's the greatest challenge.
Well, the book is phenomenal. You have put a lot of time and effort into the book. What is next for you as an author?
Well, as an author, this was a creative nonfiction. I'm currently doing work on the formerly incarcerated men and women and the type of emotional rehabilitation that they need. And I'm writing on them. And I'm writing basically on their tremendous courage, how they turn their lives from being in, let's say, solitary confinement to coming out of the prison eventually and turning out into healthy individuals. And I've come across some outstanding former incarcerated men and women who have gone on to become artists and actors and actresses. So my next nonfiction book is going to go through them, through their lives, as a way of inspiration as to how to triumph over trauma. So that's my next big proposal. But let's see how it goes.
Well, the book is great. I definitely want to have you back. I also have several other radio show hosts that I'm going to refer to your PR person, because you have to be everywhere.
Thank you so much.
You have to be everywhere, my friend, because this book is phenomenal. You are amazing. Thanks for making some time for us today, and we will talk to you soon. Have yourself a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you, Doctor.
You too, sir. Thank you for having me.
Appreciate it, my friend. There he goes. That is Dr. Sen. He joins us today here on our big program, as they say. Okay, that is that. We are going to do this. We are going to take I need to look that up. I need to look that up, but we are going to see you next time.